Welcome to Pivot Parenting, where we help parents of teens overcome regret and disappointment to find peace and connection in every situation. I'm Heather Frazier, your parenting expert. Journey with me to discover effective parenting tips, improve family relationships, and build a brighter future for your kids. Buckle up, things are about to get better. All right, we are halfway through the book. Welcome to today's episode of Pivot Parenting. I am so excited to be with you. I just had the most fun afternoon. I had a few girlfriends over, one of which is a photographer, and she took some book club photos with my soon to be published book, Mom Got Jesus Wrong, Hallelujah. And if you look at my social media, you're going to see these images. It was so fun. I have the best friends ever. And of course, my cute dog would not leave my side. And you guys, you have to check it out because he recently got a haircut. Now, he's an Aussie Doodle, so he is like a 20-pound poodle looking kind of dog, and he's chocolate. And I really have been wanting to get him a standard poodle cut for a long time. And he would not leave my side through the photo shoot, and he's just a cute little fluffer. So, of course, I had him there in the photo shoot, and he looks so funny. And I love his poodle cut. It probably is a one and done, but it's really cute. He has the palms on his forelegs and then the smooth face with the puffy head and the big long ears. He looks really cute. And it was so fun to hang out with my friends and talk about my book. And I'm excited to see these images when they come back. And I'm excited for everyone to see them on my email list and in social media because, of course, they're going to be fantastic and I'm going to put them everywhere. Book clubs are fun. Book clubs are so fun. And if you are in a book club and you need a book to do for your book club, if you're like, snap, I don't know what book I'm going to choose, Mom Got Jesus Wrong, Hallelujah is a fantastic fit. You can also do the one that I'm reading to you right now, How I Fixed My Teen. I love both my books. They serve a slightly different purpose and for a different audience. Email me and we can work out a fantastic book club deal just for you and your friends. Check out my books at heatherfrazier.com. And without further ado, let's dive right into chapters 5 and 6 today. Chapter 5, What the effing F freaking A is happening? I want to be clear on one thing. I hate the F word. In fact, I've never said it, and I really hate when people use the names of deities with disrespect. But also, I love Utah cuss slang. WTF, freak, OMG, effing effer, mofo, for shiz, and all those types of words. That's literally what I hear in my head and mean to say when I use them. Nothing more than face value or sound. I realize this might not be true for everyone. Sorry if you don't like it. I once had someone ask me if I knew what an acronym meant that I'd used in a group text. I was so stupid to explain it to them and tell them how you can look these things up on Urban Dictionary. Yeah, she knew already. Just want to make sure that I knew how offensive I was. Oops. That was a relapse in shame for me. I was naughty. It only lasted a few days, fortunately. This is a good lesson that unless you're an expert shape-shifting people pleaser, some people won't like what you have to say or even like you. Fixing your teen requires that you like yourself enough that they can call you out, disagree with you, and even tell you that they hate you and your kid, giving lots of reasons why. Step 4 is looking at social norms and tossing the ones causing harm. Some people won't like your kid. Some people who are called to love and protect them will do the opposite. WTF. Enter in Lark's Young Women's Leaders, what LDS youth group leaders at church are called. She was now around 15 years old. Her dislike of attending church was well established. Youth group starts the year a kid turns 12, and the adult leaders are called, not hired. Leaders are also rotated every few years, and while she was loved and supported upon entry, a new leadership change had occurred. The amount of trust that I and all parents have that these adults will be kind, teach good things, support and love and guide their most precious child cannot be put into words. It really does take a village to raise a teen. And if you haven't noticed, there are several years where the parent's opinion is the least valued, followed, listened to perspective of any that your kid could hear. They can sometimes do the opposite just to spite their parents. Enter the sway of a church leader. The potential is huge. Kids want someone smart to look up to that isn't their clueless, annoying parent. If played right, they circle back and see that their parents are great. This is just a developmental thing and neurologically normal. Lark was hesitant but hopeful as the new leadership took their place. She was open minded and gave them the opportunity to win her trust. Let's call her Leader 1. Started talking to other leaders about whether my sweet girl was honest in achieving her Young Women's Medallion, an award much like an Eagle Scout achievement. I heard about it. Fortunately, she didn't until now. Enter in the what the effing F freaking crap is happening, but for reals. Are we in junior high again? It was so catty, gossipy, and juvenile that my sense of trust was sent spinning. I could more easily see women attacking me. I'd heard women say that they wanted to bring me donuts to fatten me up, for example, but seriously? A young lady, a child, one that you're supposed to protect and love? Bestie, I want to pause here and tell you that I love you, that I have your back, and that I am in full support of the more recent movement of women supporting and cheering other women on. I love your successes. I desire the best life for you. I know that your being wonderful and powerful is a benefit to all women and the entire world. Value, beauty, talents, amazingness isn't a paycheck to be divvied up and prayed for, that there's enough for everyone to go around. We all have our own glass ceiling to bust wide open and reach for the endless possibilities. Each of us. Your crushing it gives me hope that I can too. Your owning inner goddess shows me my inner goddess. I love it when you win. There is more than enough success and goodness for all of us. So obviously, this woman tearing down my baby girl was baffling. Like, seriously, why? I believed Lark to be honest, but let's say she wasn't. Does that actually matter? Wouldn't that be between her and God and nobody else's business? Would it make her less worthy of love and quality leadership? Nope, not if you're trying to do the way things Christ would. Needless to say, the vibes at church were rapidly going south. Sunday mornings were the worst. They began with my dread and anxiety over how Lark would lash out at me, how I could respond, and how I could get her to church. Then her leaders would continue with exactly what I feared most happening. Then I heard about how awful it was for the rest of the day. How stupid people are, how rude and wrong and antiquated they are. Super fun for me. Conflict was the feeling, being a good parent by getting my whole family to church and then hell to pay for it. Not having love at home was the mood. Full confession. I was still stuck on the firm belief that there was one right way. The whole family goes to church or else. We're bad, we'd failed as parents, we'd sinned, that she was doomed to a life of sin and misery. God was disappointed in us. All of the pretty things parents get so hung up on that they can't see the actual truth. Perhaps you're hung up on a certain big thing that your teen is doing that makes you feel like a giant crappy failure. What is it, bestie? Here's the truth. Agency. They get to do as they please. Yes, let's teach them, hold them accountable, love them like crazy no matter what. And most importantly, drop making it mean we suck. Tell your brain to slow down with the end of the world assumptions that they're screwed and God is disappointed. We don't actually know any of that. And when we try to love our kid from that brain space, we show up less than unconditionally loving and supportive. Unfortunately, Leader 1 was not the final blow. To give you the backstory, I was not with Lark 24/7 when she was with her youth group. I've served at girls' camps cooking, and I am pretty socially aware. I also know my daughter and her heart. She is good despite putting on a tough exterior to protect herself. It was a typical dreadful Sunday. Unfortunately, I don't have any journal entries to give you my exact thoughts, but I remember it still very well. Leader 2. She was not someone I'd pick to work with the youth as she tended toward the negative, but as I am generally optimistic, I hope for the best. Nope. My baby girl, already hating to go to church, was clearly upset one day coming home from church. We were headed home in the car. She told me what had gone down in her young women's class. She and a couple of other girls sat in the back of the room. They were unfortunately looking at someone's phone on Instagram while the teacher taught her lesson. Leader 2 went to the back of the room and chewed them out for being so disrespectful. In front of everyone, with an elevated voice. My heart dropped through my chest and the car and died on the asphalt. This was the final blow. This was the last straw. What the freak? How on earth did this leader think that that was in any way appropriate or Christ-like? Yes, she could have been paying attention, but they weren't being loud. They were at the back of the room, and for the love of all that is holy, they were there. For the last time. That was the last time Lark went. I realized that it was not a safe or welcoming place for her, and we made a deal. She would come to the first hour where we'd all be together, and then she could choose where to be. It all clicked. Jesus didn't want her mistreated. I didn't want her mistreated, gossiped about, or yelled at. Maybe looking the part of a good family wasn't the goal, or goodness. Maybe being a good parent meant protecting your kids from those who were supposed to be a support. Maybe living the gospel of Jesus Christ didn't look the same for any one family or individual. One of her friends at church was also told that they could no longer be friends because they went for coffee together with a few other friends. In the doctrine of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we're taught to avoid coffee, alcohol, and drugs. This mom basically told Lark and me to our faces that she was a bad influence and that her daughter could no longer be Lark's friend. This also happened to be a girl who needed love and support and would often come to our home and complain about the very real and big struggles in her family life. We were a stable, safe home, and her mother denied her our love. It broke my heart. How are all of these women treating my baby like she was a leper? Like their kid would catch something rather than a person to love and give love. But it gets better. Leader 2 apparently realized that she'd stepped too far. Or so was the pretense that she invited the few girls over to make amends. I should have gone. I was so not where I am now. But I didn't go. I let those girls walk into a lion's den alone. Leader 2 didn't apologize, but rather justified her actions without an adult audience. She called them the mean girls of the congregation, told them that all the other girls and leaders were scared of them, and further dug the knife into my baby girl. I was livid when Lark got home and gave me the full report. Fortunately, she was amused by it and laughed it all off. We both knew enough to know that that was certainly not true, at least by her own behaviors. At girls' camp, I'd seen that she was always braiding younger girls' hair, helping out, and being kind to everyone. I knew this tight group of friends to have fun together, but through the years, I had often seen them include girls standing around without a friend. This leader was dead wrong, and in my mind's eye, she had finalized Lark's exit from attending church. I was so hurt and betrayed by these women who were friends to my face. I don't know if they know the damage they did to her. I do know that she isn't the only one. Accounts of further mistreatment of other girls whom they drove from Christ's building are a thing. So what about them? I have tons of thoughts and feelings. I've moved through most of them and I'm generally at peace. There are no takebacks, so wondering what coulda, woulda, shoulda happened is not only futile but keeps me stuck in hurt and anger. Unfortunately, people cause harm to our babies. It's unavoidable. It didn't feel right to speak to any of them at the time. I'm not afraid to advocate, but this wasn't a useful place to do so. And even though I wasn't as knowledgeable as I am now, I'm happy with how our family supported Lark. I turned inward toward her, towards how I could love and help her. Do these women behave in ways I don't view as Christ-like? Yes. And also, they have the agency to do so. I was never mad at them, just hurt for my baby. Okay, maybe I was mad for a bit. And if you're there, I feel it with you. I know that you can work through it, and I'm here to help if you want. I'm just disappointed in these situations that made our hard time so much worse. Devastated that these leaders and mothers weren't their best selves, that they hadn't healed their wounds, did their spiritual maturing, and my girl, along with many others, suffered for it. Hurt people hurt people. I actually hate this phrase and completely disagree. Hurt people have choices just like the rest of us. In fact, we all have hurts, and blaming our wounds for our behaviors is BS. We can't use them as a pass for what we do or a crutch for behaviors we don't want to look at. This is childish and selfish. I'm calling it like it is, not in a hateful way, but in that honest, I love you enough to tell you the truth kind of way. I'm not going to blame them because that's not helpful to the solution. All of us, each collectively owning our crap and working on ourselves, is the solution. This is why I chose to drop my focus on feeling wronged and look to Lark, our family, and Christ for how to grow and figure it out. Again, if you're freshly wounded by clergy friends or family, this is a process best helped with a quality guide. It's okay to be still reeling and angry. Grab me, another friend or professional to help you out. And when you're ready to move on with it, it will be more smooth. Let's get back to how this example could help you fix your teen. I had to let go of what society deemed as good to discover what was good for our specific family situation. This can be really hard to change norms, to shift traditions, to see things in a different light. But it's an important step in fixing your teen. Everything should be up for consideration. It's the only way we find what fits your specific family. FYI, lots of people will freak and dislike the changes you make. That's okay. Follow your paternal intuition of what serves your family to the highest degree, what brings the best version of you and them out, and what is safe, nurturing, and unconditionally loving for you and them. Only you know what your highest form of integrity takes on. My wonderful friend, I believe in you. I just want to note that from the outside, this could look like you're being a cafeteria Christian or selectively picking and choosing commandments or social rules. People may whisper or say things. Learn to make peace with that. You will be able to tell the difference. You know what your religious doctrine is versus cultural norms. Pay attention to them. You know your social and cultural norms and how they affect you and others, good and bad. Pay attention to them. Choose the ones that bring you closer to your values. Please know that this isn't easy. It's what is best. This is often the harder choice, not the easier one. Dial into your intuition, the spirit, your highest form of integrity, and you'll be able to tell goodness from everything else others might point and accuse you of. God doesn't judge us based on what is seen, but by where our hearts are and the intention behind our words and actions. If you're into God, then just remember that He's the only one we're trying to please, and He's focusing on the inward stuff. What are you holding on to that you've been handed through family expectations, cultural norms, and religion? Some of these things will still be helpful, like feeding your kids, having some functional rules, and helping them learn to be adults. Other things may not work for you, and this, my friend, is official permission to let that shiz go. Seriously, let's take a deep breath together. Exhale and let the toxic crap out, never to bother us again. I also had to let go of how others chose to act. Dwelling on what isn't within your control is crazy making. And people who are with their kids are at the top of the crazy making list. Focus on loving your kid, not on the people who don't see their value and lovability. That's on them, not on you or your teen. Our children were not meant to fit in a box, which is good. Hi there. I just want to pause and let you know if you are struggling to make sense of your teen's behaviors, emotions are running wild, and you're looking to turn things around, to have the family you dreamed of while rocking them to sleep, I would love to talk to you. I want to give you a special, powerful gift. 30 minutes with me, my friend. You'll walk away with more confidence, clarity, and understanding of what the issue is and your next best step in resolving any situation you bring to me. It's completely free. I love families and want to help yours be wildly happy and successful. Book this call by visiting my website, heatherfraser.com. Remember, Fraser is spelled with a Z-I in the middle. And don't worry, the link is also in the show notes. I look forward to meeting and helping you. Chapter 6. I am me, she is her. I am me, she is her. If I say it enough, will I stop thinking I failed because of the choices she's made? Cutting, vaping, porn, sex, stealing, weed, lying, alcohol, cheating. Basically the crappiest things teens might choose to do, and Lark was choosing a few of them. So naturally I'd failed and felt like trash. I've scoured my journals for something I wrote, but nothing. Shame has a way of silencing us. Rather than think I suck for not documenting, I'm going to acknowledge that it's normal to not want to permanently record on paper the era of my life that was, I had to keep myself together while my daughter told me she was doing these awful things, not react, not panic, not ask too many questions, or behave at all out of acceptable behavior and spook her into never sharing such things again. So I kept a calm face and then went and lost my mind as I drove around running errands because I had zero time or skills to allow myself to process my feelings. I was and am lucky to have a close enough relationship with Lark that she would eventually tell me stuff. Always well after it was resolved, always with no emotion, always throwing my heart into a shredder. Yes, I'm glad she'd tell me, and also I wish that I had known this one thing deep in my bones so that I could have been more supportive of her. She is her, and I am me. It seems counterintuitive. We want to be part of our child. We want to see them as part of us. We think this gives us intimacy and connection. We want to be close to them, to help, love, and guide them. We want them to accept us and be open to us for their benefit and ours. It would feel so good and be so helpful. But this isn't what usually happens. When the lines of identity and agency are blurred, we try to control each other to maintain our positive sense of self. We all dislike this being done to us. We reject those who attempt it, including our teens. What seems pretty on the outside is actually terrible within. We need to separate ourselves and be whole individuals to fully connect with each other. This means we all make choices, and they're because of ourselves, not our parents or others. Sometimes we like to try and shove blame elsewhere. This can sound like, "You're driving me crazy. Your kindness makes me feel better. If you just stop, then everything would be fine. Your friends are making you behave badly. When you're happy, the whole house is happy. Knock it off before I lose it. You're breaking my heart. I need you to do it my way so that I'm comfortable with it. It's your fault Grandma got mad. My daughter left church because of you. You made me because you weren't going to. If you wouldn't have, then my hands wouldn't have been forced. But these are all such emotionally weak approaches, and not true. What are you too horrified to document? And where are you putting the blame? Do they need to lose their awful friends? Is it because of your failings? Are they just being a brat who won't listen? When we discover unpleasant things our kids are doing, there are a few general responses most parents have. 1. Blame directed at someone or something. 2. Shame around themselves, their kid, the situation. 3. Anger that it's happening at all. 4. Heartbreak. And 5. Denial. Most of us bounce around between them, trying to land somewhere to find relief, solve the problem, and find out why it's happening so it doesn't ever happen again. Enter the next step in fixing your teen. Step 5 to fixing your teen is untangling yourself from your kid and your spouse and your appearance and your accomplishments. It's owning that everyone is them and you are you, and there is space between them all in healthy relationships and self-concept. Bestie, we tell each other the truth, and here it is. Only emotional children blame others. If you're grown up on the inside, you don't go around pointing fingers at people or circumstances to make excuses for your feelings, behavior, or lack of. Yes, this is similar to previous steps, but deserves distinction. This is precisely what set my heart free from torture when I was trying to be Lark's best mom. I had to see that my efforts were good and I could be proud of them. I had to see this while also seeing her decisions in direct opposition to my efforts. I was her best mom, and she still got to do what she wanted. Differentiation is the word, and it's separating out what anyone and everyone, especially your teen, says, does, or doesn't, and you. It's knowing that your kid is doing what they're doing because of them, not you, even if they blame you for it. You're not the reason they yell. You're not the reason they hate you. Their teacher isn't the reason they're getting an A. Their church leader isn't the reason they stayed in or left the church. Fun fact, Lark read this book and only vaguely remembers those moments with her leaders. She said that her leader's behavior may have been what allowed me to allow her to leave, but she was already gone in her mind and heart. Their actions are each 100% on them. She wanted to make sure I understood that they didn't drive her out. She chose to leave. I wanted to blame them for so long. I wanted them to be responsible for her leaving so that I could believe that she's innocent and they're the bad guy. We don't like seeing our kids as the bad guy. Turns out we're all just acting according to our own framework of viewing right and wrong. What leaders do, their business. What our kids do, their business. How parents respond, their business. Yes, we affect each other. We rub up against other humans all day, every day that affect us and our family. We can't stop this from happening. We need to be aware so that we are intentional with this life reality. Again, the ball is back in our court. Leaders and parents can love and mentor our teens or harm them. We can choose to approach others with love and understanding or scorn and hate them. This has an effect that we are each responsible for. That is where it can be helpful to have an educated professional helping to discern. But ultimately, taking ownership of yourself and letting your teen own themselves is where we want to be. This is also the healthiest place to connect and love each other. They're responsible for their actions, and we are responsible for ours. We need to sort through all the business out there and then just mind our own. This means that we have to be brave enough to honestly look at what is happening and our role within that. This means that we can choose to love regardless of others' choices. When our feelings and approach are coming from our very best, we have no regrets, and our possible effect on others has the best potential results. Simple in concept, harder in application. Good thing I'm your best friend and will walk you through it anytime you like. XOXO.
Heather is the one, an expert in the field. She knows her parenting stuff, including how confusing it can be. You've tried it all, and it's a lost cause. Crying in the closet 'cause